Welcome back to part 2 of our Swiss adventure as we visit Alaia Bay, new wave pool in Sion, Switzerland. In the previous episode, see pop up at the top of your screen, we discussed the differences and similarities between Alaia Bay and our home wave pool, the Wave in Bristol, UK. In this episode, we discuss the wave pool differences less and share more of the waves we surfed, including our first ever attempts at riding a barrel. Do you know how we got on? You're about to find out.
My name is James Davis, and I've been skydiving for over 22 years, competing and jumping all around the world. I want to find out if the latest wave pools can do for surfing what wind tunnels did for skydiving. I'm going to see if an average UK-based surfer can train at the Wave Garden in Bristol for 12 months and learn to get barreled.
So how do we get on with our first session? Badly would be a good answer. This is our first wave at Alaia. We messed up the takeoff and missed the wave. Second wave was a little better, but nothing to write home about. From here the session didn't really get any better. Cutbacks finishing at the bottom half of the wave, dodgy unbalanced pop-ups, and bottom turns and body positioning that would lose all our speed. The overall takeaways from the first session were that it wasn't our best. It was one of those frustrating surfs. No need to really dwell on the mistakes. It's a new wave pool and location. We're going to surf plenty more. So on to the good stuff. After one other advanced wave surf, and to be honest, not a very good one either, we decided to book an expert wave session and challenge ourselves a bit. As mentioned last week, the wave settings are not standardised at every Wave Garden designed wave pool. It's the operators that decide which waves they offer to the public and what they want to call them. The wave sessions can also differ in when the wave settings change within the session. See the last vlog for a bit more information on this. At Alaia Bay, the expert session starts with T1 wave settings, before moving to T2 and then T3, before finally finishing with 15 minutes of B1 waves. Found the turn setting waves really challenging and right at the edge of my ability. It's probably a lot to do with confidence and building the number of successful waves, but surfing the waves and indeed catching them required full concentration. It's interesting because I definitely felt elevated levels of anxiety as the wave settings increased. Catching the wave was always on my mind. The turn waves were fantastic. It was just so much fun to ride and definitely challenging for where my surfing is currently at. The wave size is obviously a relative thing, and these waves aren't anything of consequence compared to what many surfers regularly surf in the ocean. But for us, the extra size and power was fantastic to experience. So on to the B1 wave settings and trying some barrels. As the intro says, the 12 months challenge we set ourselves was to see if we could learn to get barreled by training to surf at a wave pool. In August 2020, we were surfing an 8-foot foamy. We surfed a range of boards and waves and tried to get to a wave pool as much as possible. We then had the interruption of another COVID lockdown in the UK and lost 3 to 4 months at the start of 2021. As a normal guy, living in a city and in his early 40s, getting anywhere near a barrel on a surfboard never seemed to be likely, so getting the chance to surf those B1 waves was his dream. Moving back to Alaia Bay, here is our first attempt at surfing the B1 waves. This wave may not look so great to an experienced barrel rider, but for us, just being near the tube was amazing. And to prove beginner's luck does exist, here's our second attempt. I'll explain more in a moment, but having 3 key tips from a high-level surfer really helped us in this session. As mentioned previously, one of the benefits of surfing the wave pool is the social aspect. In this session, it was super cool to see everyone getting great waves. Having never surfed a barrel wave before, there were some interesting observations. One being how much the water sucks up and wants to pull your board up the wave. As we just mentioned, some key tips really helped us. Before we show you our best effort on the B1 waves, we should mention this guy, Xavier Lopez, a young talented Basque surfer who shared 3 key tips for the B1 waves with us. Number 1, a good strong paddle. The B1 wave takeoff is actually quite mellow and easier than the turn waves to deal with, but you can't get complacent. Having a strong start is key. Number 2, there is time on the wave to do a setup turn, and making sure you're well positioned on the wave and have some speed as the wave starts to barrel is key. Number 3, board direction. Probably the most useful point and really obvious when he explained it. Keeping the board pointing at the beach is critical, as the water sucking up the wave face will want to pull the board parallel to the wave, away from pointing at the beach, and will result in sucking you and the board up the face. These 3 tips were amazing and genuinely helped us with the B1 waves. As you can see, he clearly knows what he's talking about. And finally, here's our best wave from the session. Again, it may not look that great to some surfers, but for me, it was the best wave I've ever ridden. In the next episode, join us as we return to Bristol, where we see if we can surf the expert way and put to use everything we learned in Switzerland. Did we manage to get any deeper in the tube? You have to tune in to find out.